Hey, what is up guys? So we are going to be doing a part 2 discussion video about the Bujin archetype. Now in the first video, if you guys want to check that out, I'll put a link down below in the description box. A lot of you players disagree with me that Bujins, are going to be tier 1 next format, and that's totally cool. That is the point of a discussion video, is to share our ideas and, argue amongst each other, hopefully civilized, arguments of why a deck is good and why a deck is, bad. I think we should probably go over, what is considered a good deck first, because, a lot of us as players, might have a different definition of what makes a good deck. Now, I don't think Bujins are a bad deck, guys. Don't get me wrong, but I also don't think Blackwings are a bad deck at all. It's just not, tier 1 material, and I pretty much say, tier 1 material, because, that is what's winning tournaments. I mean, is Bujins winning YCSs back-to-back? No, unfortunately, right now, I mean, we can check, the top 32 YCS decks from London that just came in not too long ago, and no surprise, Dragon Ruler is the top deck. We still see, a splash of other things. There's Modolce, there's the Hunder, there's the Chainburn, which, Chainburn will always be there. It'll always be a deck that, some players are interested in playing. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that Dragon Rulers will be hit in the next, format, but who knows? Maybe someone will figure out a new way to play the Dragon Ruler and it'll plague us for another format. But for now, I mean, it's pretty much Dragon Rulers. I mean, that is the deck, personally, that I feel like, could be maybe holding back Bujins. That could be, a possibility. But we'll briefly talk about some other cards or some other decks also in a moment. But, I mean, pretty much, look at the top 8. Dragon Rulers, oh, no, Dragoon Rulers. Dragoon Rulers again. That's also a very popular deck right now. But what it comes down to is pretty much Dragon Rulers. And I'm not saying, Dragon Ruler players, they're awful, they're evil for playing the deck. I mean, if someone goes to a tournament, they're probably interested in, winning, especially when they're going to be traveling, paying all these expenses to fly across and play a deck. Now, unfortunately, Bujins, haven't really been up there. Even with Mikazuchi, is that really going to change the way the deck plays? Think of it that way, guys. I mean, pretty much the deck goes off of, one summon, and then you try to protect that monster as hard as possible. And, in my video before, I was basically talking about how good Judgment Dragon was against the deck and how it counters a lot of the stuff that the deck actually uses to, even combat with some of the speed of the meta. And the thing is, this deck will get played so much, guys. I don't think you guys, well, some of you guys understood that, this deck will be seeing so much play, and a lot of you other players are like, well, just because, one deck has a bad matchup doesn't mean that it's a bad deck. I mean, look at Chaos Dragons, guys. That deck was getting so much play because, first off, it's a very easy deck to play, and everyone has access to it because it basically is a that was a structure deck. This one might be some structure box thing. I don't know. We'll see when it comes out. But Lightsworn will be a very, very popular deck. I mean, an easily mill Wolf with a Raiden Lightsworn can equal up getting rid of a Bujin, and then they're going to have a bad time, because you can always just send the card to the graveyard, Black Ship of Corn. There's so many things that you can do. There's so many rank 4 XYZs that you can just, get Mill Wolf and then be like, okay, I XYZ real quick, and then I get rid of your Bujin. And then if they drop Mikazuchi, I mean, that's another card that they have. But if they don't have it, I mean, the deck doesn't really have a boss monster. I mean, their best card probably is still going to be Yamato. I mean, the best first turn in this deck, even after Shadow Specters, is probably still going to be summon Yamato, search the Crane, ditch a Turtle. That's probably one of the best plays that you can have in the deck, and then you sell as many back row as possible. Now, even though a lot of players are saying, once Dragon Rulers are gone, this deck is going to be, a lot better. And, I would say, that is partially true. But the thing is, just because, Dragons are gone means that, players will probably be interested in playing, other decks. And, those other decks could be Spellbooks. I mean, Spellbooks might not get touched. I mean, Spellbook of Fate doesn't target. You can't drop the Mikazuchi because it won't be destroyed. So, Spellbooks could, be a popular deck in the next format. I mean, we've seen Modolces. How many times has Modolce topped YCS? There's always, one player that tops with Modolces, and this deck is kind of popular simply because of the cute artwork. I mean, there are so many players that love this deck simply because it's cute, and there are a lot of players that do play it simply because of that factor. But the thing is, the deck isn't bad. I mean, Tiramisu doesn't target, therefore getting rid of the Yamato poses a threat to the Bujin player. I mean, there are tons of cards that, you can technically side deck, but, I mean, you could side deck, the Bujin player can also side deck, so, keep that in mind. There's this card, which, it ruins Bujins. It really does. Once this card comes out against Bujins, I mean, they have very limited options that they can actually use to get rid of it. I know they have the, one card XYZ, which can be a card, but that, technically takes a little bit of setup. But, yeah, this card, it ruins Bujins, because no Crane, and, like, there's obviously, if this card is successfully summoned, when they declare the attack, you can't really do anything to it. There's also Mistake, which is coming out, which will probably be pretty good against them. Mind Drain is pretty good against them because, you know, the Crane activates in the hand. You can also Mind Crush the Crane, you can Smash and Ground the Yamato, I mean, but they will have Mikazuchi, you know, in the future. And there's also Creature Swap, which I've seen some players play and side deck against Bujins, because this card, it's amazing against Bujins, because even in Bujin Mirror Match, I mean, majority of the time, what's going to be out on the field is going to be Yamato and Mikazuchi, and then they can maybe, you know, summon Turtle, Creature Swap, and, you know, they can do all the stuff that they need to do to basically just get rid of Yamato, because like I said, guys, I mean, how Bujins play right now, and I've talked to a few OCG players, like I said, and they don't find this deck interesting to play. And, you know, you might have fun playing this deck, hey, that's totally cool, but for me, I don't personally find this deck that fun. I mean, it has very linear plays. I like decks like Plants, you know, back in the day, the whole Plants with, like, playing 4 Plants, but, you know, I like decks that have, you know, these huge combos and, you know, boss monsters and all these, you know, big things to do. But the problem with Bujins is they basically have Yamato, and I know you can technically OTK with the Black Garden and the Susanoo. You can definitely do a lot of plays in the deck. But hope this video gives you guys that, you know, disagree with me. It's just some insight, and I'm not trying to say you have to, you know, change your mind and think Bujins are, you know, not a tier 1 deck. Because if you think it's tier 1, and by all means, you know, we'll see what it has to offer next format. Because, you know, I do like diversity in the format, and right now, I mean, Dragoonides is pretty much, you know, Dragon. I mean, it goes hand in hand, because the thing is, it's the ability to make rank 7 monsters. And in this game right now, rank 7 monsters, you know, are absolutely just wrecking the game. Dracosac is so good against Bujins. You know, obviously Big Eye is a card too, but, you know, some Bujin players do play Vela. But Dracosac, man, that card, I mean, they summon the 2 tokens and they attack with Dracosac. If you don't drop Crane, you're going to lose Yamato. And if you do drop Crane, they still have Dracosac, and they still have 2 tokens. So it puts you in a very bad situation. And the way I look at it is, the deck is a little bit slow. I mean, it basically, like I said, has the same plays majority of the time, which is summon 1 monster and protect the monster as hard as possible. But, you know, we'll see what it has to offer us in the next coming format, if maybe we get more support in Legacy of the Valiant. I know we're getting some support, but who knows, maybe the rest of the support will be like that new Gravekeeper support, which is going to be so good, right, guys? But the way I look at it is, a lot of players will probably be playing Lightsworn, simply because so many players will have easy access to this deck, and some of the players that maybe they'll just move on to, you know, Spellbooks if the deck doesn't get hit. And like I said, you know, there's Dolces. There's other decks too that can definitely get rid of Bujins, but, you know, I felt like these ones were probably going to be the ones that, you know, were a good deck to mention. But if you guys still disagree with me, hey, let me know why. I mean, now I guess I have more points on the table rather than just Judgment Dragon exists, therefore Bujins cannot play. Because a lot of you players were like, why would you mention that? But the thing is, guys, trust me, there's going to be so many players playing the new Lightsworn deck because, like I said, easy access, easy deck to play, and, you know, Bujin's obviously going to be still probably a more expensive deck than just picking up 3 Lightsworn structure decks or whatever they're going to release the Lightsworn box as. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this guys gives you, you know, a insight on, you know, more of opinions on why I personally do not find Bujins to be the best deck. But, you know, I do want to say, I do read your guys' comments. I don't read all of them, because I know there's some YouTubers that say, oh, I read every one of your guys' comments, guys. And the thing is, you know, let's be realistic, that's probably not true. I did read a ton of the ones on the Bujins ones, and I heard you guys' arguments. One of you guys were like, well, I can just safe zone your Judgment Dragon. Well, if you safe zone Judgment Dragon, unfortunately, I still blow up the entire field. I might lose my Judgment Dragon, but I use 1 card and you lose everything. So I'm pretty sure I still win in that aspect. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Asian Eyes out.